everyone, it's Sharana from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing and recapping Welcome to Derry, episode 6, In the Name of the Father. Okay, so for those of you new to my channel, welcome, hello, so glad you came. I hope you stay. I'll tell you what I liked about the episode. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna get into some issues that I had, but most of all, before I get started, I may say something crazy, because when I tell you that Ingrid belongs under the jail, she actually belongs straight to hell. But if there was a jail under the hell, under that jail, and another hell under that hell and that jail, that's where Ingrid deserves to be. All right, and for Henry, while you was sitting up here trying to crawl up behind this little raggedy, treacherous, villainous, big forehead, daddy eating kids, raggedy, cheating woman. Okay, if you weren't so busy up in her sheets, in her bed, up her cheeks, then you was worried about your daughter, you probably wouldn't be in this predicament right now. Okay, Henry? But you know what? Let me go ahead. I'm a woosah. I'm gonna calm down, because I said that I wasn't gonna let them upset me this week. But yeah, I'm pretty upset. I don't like Ingrid. But let's just go in chronological order of the episode. So the opening sequence happens. We're in 1935. We're at Juniper Hill Asylum, and so we see that there is a nurse, and she gently wakes Mabel up. Now, had I known this was Ingrid raggedy behind in the beginning, I would have been even more upset, because it's one thing to like wake me up, but you're waking me up out of a peaceful slumber. I'm already in this raggedy asylum. I don't know what Miss Mabel did. It seemed like Miss Mabel was there because she said Penny, big foreheaded behind, was sitting up there bothering her in her dreams and stuff, and telling her to meet her downstairs in the basement. But it's one thing for you to wake her up, but it's another thing for you to then take her to said place that she's already scared of, the reason why she's probably in this asylum in the first place, and you're gonna wake her up and tell her that she got to take her behind all the way down the steps to go meet the person that has been tormenting her this entire time. And then you didn't even know her name. You didn't even know her name. She's like, I'm sorry, what's your name? I said, well, bitch, I would hope that you would know my name if you sitting up here disturbing my slumber. That's the least you could have did, is recognize what my name was, read a chart, asked another colleague, something. That's how I knew something was already off in the beginning of the episode, because it just, nothing was adding up. Because I was just like, how's she waking this girl up and she don't even know her name? Like, that's just disrespect on like a whole nother level. But she takes her downstairs, okay? And she's like, hey, girl, I know I'm taking you downstairs, but no one's going to hurt you. I'm not going to let anything happen to you. So I was like, I mean, I guess, okay. I was like, maybe she's taking her downstairs because she doesn't want her, she wants her to overcome this fear so she can get up out the hospital. You know, I'm just dumb and naive and trying to believe the best in people. But had I known it was Ingrid, had I known it was cheating, villainous, treacherous Ingrid, I wouldn't have even wasted my time trying to have good, pure thoughts about somebody. I would have saw her for the raggedy human being that she was, okay? And so she takes her downstairs and she says like, hey girl, like, I don't want to do this. I want to go back to my bed. I'm trying to like go to sleep. I ain't trying to die tonight. And she was just like, okay, like there's a balloon over there. And so you see the balloon, and then you know, the balloon goes into the hallway, and then Pennywise pops up. And I just love how scary this is. I love how no matter what time of day I watch this, I watch the episode first in the morning, then I watch it at night to get like the real feel for it. I just love that they always love to scare us. And then it just goes into this little happy, cheery music. Like we ain't just, you know, watch someone probably, you know, get sent to the upper room. Except if it's Ingrid, she gonna get sent to the down room, okay? So we come back to present day. So we're facing the aftermath of everything that happened with Leroy, you know, losing his best friend. And so he's like cursing out Leroy, yelling at him. And I was kind of like, I understand why you're yelling at him, because like, had you stayed home, like I told you to stay home, I wouldn't have almost killed you, and then my friend wouldn't have had to like save you and take a bullet for you. But I'm like, hey, I feel like there's more important things to talk about. I feel like we need to unpack the fact that we were in a sewer and we saw this big four-headed clown that was trying to kill us and trying to eat us. I just felt like priorities just weren't where they needed to be. And Miss Charlotte, I just need you to understand, if somebody's coming home and saying that, hey, it's a shapeshifter that was trying to take all of us out, I just need you to also just, I need you to believe, especially if you see how freaked out your son is and you see how your husband's going off. But I guess Leroy will always be going off like that because it's trouble in paradise for those two. But when Leroy, like, he was like, you gonna stay in your house and you not going to hang out with your friends? And he said no. I said no. I got scared. Like I said no. Which brings me to a random story time of when my mama was trying to beat me. And then I guess I just felt like I was too old and I was like above it, and I grabbed the belt, and I saw I grabbed the belt, and then like I really didn't think I would be here today to talk to y'all because of how I grabbed that belt, and then she like grabbed me and she DDT'd me. Like if y'all watch wrestling, y'all know like the DDT me, because she kind of like paused for a moment and I paused like, beach, I just grabbed this belt, like I'm finna die. And so then I ran out in the street because we live with a whole bunch of white people. I was like, she's not gonna beat me in front of the white people. And then she was like, you got 5 seconds to come back in this house. And then she DDT'd me as soon as I came in the house. That was just a random side note. That didn't have nothing to do with nothing, but it kind of took me back to that moment when Leroy told, when Will told his daddy no. And then his daddy, like, you know, he was just like, what you say? He was like, you told me that a man never runs away from like in the face of trouble. And I was like, he kind of ate that. And I was like, Leroy, you kind of got to let him ride, because he was taking your words of wisdom. And he basically said, hey, you being a little punk right now, because I said I'm finna sit up and I'm finna fight Penny for my friends and for my family, and you're trying to run away. And so then he didn't take too kindly to that, and then he hit Leroy, and then Charlotte looking at him crazy, I'm looking at him crazy, Will looking at him crazy, and then Will like runs off and he goes to be with his friends. I mean, I kind of got scared when he hit him. I was like, dang, like, Leroy, chill out. Like, I know tensions is high, you lost your friend, but hey, chill out. Just chill out just a little bit, okay? So we see that Will goes to be with his friends, and then I don't know why Lily bothers me so much. And I mean, I want to give kudos to the actress, because Lily gets on my nerves every time I see her. And I don't know if it's the fact that she was like willing to let, you know, Ronnie's dad just like go to jail forever for something that she know that he didn't do. I understand she didn't want to go back to the asylum, but like, you know, right is right, okay? And I just think she's bothered me from that first episode. So I'm going to try to let it go, but I don't know, because she was getting on my nerves too, because she had the meteorite shard that Pennywise was afraid of. And so she's showing them and she's like explaining to them like, hey, I thought I was a goner. And I was like, yeah, I thought you was toast last episode too. And so Will tries to say like, hey, can I touch it? She was like, I'll hold it. And I was like, see, that's that little passive aggressive stuff that she be doing that just be irking my nerves for some reason. But I can tell that her holding the meteorite shard, that it's like doing something mentally to her, because we kind of see this breakdown as we go throughout the course of the episode. And so they end up getting into a fight because Ronnie was saying what everyone was thinking, okay? Because she was just like, hey, girl, ever since you came into my life has been trash. My life has been sent to the pits of hell. And to be honest, like, I think that you're the problem. Like, when she's like, when Cardi said, am I the drama? No, Cardi, I think that Lily is the drama, okay? So they get into the whole thing, and then she called her crazy. And I was like, girl, you can't be like, I mean, like, I get what you're saying. Like, I think all of us get what you're saying, but you can't be calling people crazy. And so they get into a big fight, and she was just like, I wish you would have just stayed your behind in that asylum and they never let you out, because then I wouldn't even be dealing with y'all, and then I would have my daddy back. And then it just turned into a whole fight. But I love how Ronnie was like, I'll go look after her. I said, I know you better go look after your boo. But I did love that. This is how you know that that's a good man, Savannah, or a good boy, okay? Because they're kids, even though they went through puberty since the show was filmed. When she asked him, like, was I tripping? He was just like, look, honey, I'm riding with you no matter what. But if you ask me, yeah, you was tripping a little bit. You was tripping a little bit. And see, that's a person that truly cares about you. Somebody is going to tell you that you're wrong, even when you're like in your emotions, that they can still hold you accountable. Okay. So I'm here for the whole Will and Ronnie action of it all. But I was dying laughing when Charlotte pulled up. They looked like they was finna kiss. And then Charlotte was just like, I mean, she said William Dubois. Like, I was just like, did you need to say his middle name? Like, you know, when they say your middle name, you really in trouble. And then she was like, and you too, little miss, you can get in the car too. And I was just like, I love Taylor Page in this, because she was like, I loved everything about that moment. I thought it was absolutely cute. And I just love that we get the blackness of like how black parents react. I don't know. I probably would have got a whooping now that I think about it. Maybe I had a traumatic childhood. Maybe that's why I am the way that I am right now. Maybe we're unpacking something. Okay. But after she interrupts them, she ends up taking Charlotte to the shack that Dick and his friends like built up. So basically she's hiding Ronnie's dad there until they can get him out of town. And so Dick was not too happy about this whole prospect, because he was just like, hey, I'm seeing ghosts now. Okay, it's a lot going on. I just want to drink my whiskey. I want to take a nap. I've been through a lot. I've been roaming the sewers with a clown that got in my head and opened the lockbox. And actually, I really love that we have these connections to the Stephen King universe, because if you know Dick's character is in The Shining, and I love how even when Henry escapes from jail, how he was supposed to be going to Shawshank. If you guys haven't seen the Shawshank Redemption, then get your entire life. I love how we have all these characters who appear in other books, like how we kind of reference all of these other Stephen King works of art. I just love how we get those little Easter eggs throughout the course of the season. But so we see that he's hiding. They're hiding him there. Charlotte wants to help, and Dick isn't too happy about it. But before that, Dick and Leroy have a conversation, because Leroy has new orders for them to carry out. And then Dick is like, hey man, I just need a break. We just doing, you doing a lot. You saw what we went through in the sewer. You try to give me more orders. And then at the end of the day, he was like, what happened down there? He was like, I think we made it mad. I said, now Dick, you was feeling yourself these first couple episodes when people were trying to tell you, slow your roll. You don't want to do nothing. Your grandma even tried to tell you, stop doing all this stuff for them, because you're going to unlock something that you're not going to be happy about. And so we see that he tells Leroy how, he has, these different powers. His grandmother had a hint of it as well, but he has it a little bit more than what she had, and how he used to see ghosts. He used to be able to talk to them, but it came too much. It became too overwhelming for him. And then she taught him how to put them in a lockbox. And we saw at the end of last week's episode that Pennywise opened that box. And so now he's seeing all these people, which is basically causing him to have a mini breakdown that's happening, but nobody really can understand what he's going through. And so I like that, Leroy is trying to tell him, okay, but we still got to get to work. And then he was like, I don't give a F what you trying to tell me to do. I'm finna go get my pappy, and I'm finna go drink myself to sleep. And so Leroy threatens him like, okay, I'm gonna let you deal with whatever you dealing with for the rest of the day, but either you gonna help me by choice, or then I'm gonna put you in jail. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but I was just confused why Leroy was just really trying to convince him. Maybe he feels even more emboldened about the whole thing just because he lost his best friend. So he feels like we really need to figure out what's going on. But when Leroy gets home, he sees that Charlotte is packing. She's obviously upset. And she was just like, this is just not okay. And I think it's interesting when he keeps saying, I'm trying to fight for this country. And it's so interesting to see somebody like Leroy during this time say that, because you're fighting for a country that hates you. You're fighting for a country that doesn't love you back. And it's kind of like you're willing to spill your blood for a country that wants to spill your blood and wouldn't even think twice. Even if you gave your life for this country, it wouldn't matter. We see the discrimination that he went through at the beginning of the season. We see kind of this pushback that he keeps going through and what's happening in the town, especially when you look at Henry's character. So it's just interesting that he says, I'm trying to fight for this country. And I was like, baby, I don't think this is the country I'll be trying to fight for. But you know what? You do what makes you happy. If it makes you happy, whatever. But Charlotte says, I don't know about you, but what I'm doing is I'm packing my bags and I'm taking myself and my son, and we're going to go to Shreveport. I'm going to help Henry get his little raggedy behind out, and then we're going to Shreveport. If you want to come, you can come. If not, I don't know what to tell you, okay? And so I felt like when she was like, you need to make things right. He was like, what do you think I'm trying to do? And she was like, no, with your son. I don't know if that was kind of like, is she done with the marriage or what? But I was wondering what that kind of meant. Was that a dual meaning? I'm fed up, I'm done. You can make things work with your son, but it's over for us. I don't know, but I'm interested to see what is happening. But I do want to know why they're feeding these kids this dried looking spam. I was just very concerned. If I'm sending my kid to school so they can eat that raggedy behind, but then you had the nerve to put whipped cream and a cherry on the gelatin. I was just kind of confused by that. But that's a random side note. But what I do love is Rich and Marge. Okay. let me tell you about a good boy, okay? If I allow my kids to date, I ain't got no kids, but when I have kids and I allow them to date, I hope they find some nice young men like Ronnie and Rich, okay? Because Rich played the long game, okay? He had his eyes set on Marge since day one, all right? And so when he walks in on her trying to like fix her eye in their secret hiding spot, and then she was like, no, I'm changing my bandage, I'm gonna look ugly. He was like, I think this looks so cool, let me help you. Now I don't know what he was talking about saliva is an antiseptic. Like, don't do that. That was very nasty, but it's the thought that counts. But I love how he thought she was beautiful, that he wasn't bothered by the scar. Like, he thought it was super cool. He helped her change her bandages. I just thought the whole interaction with them, the entire episode, when we're at the lunch table and Marge finally stands up to them raggedy girls that I had no idea why she was hanging out with them in the first place, to even just the conversations when they're planning Halloween costumes and she's like, it's a date. I was like, girl, don't take that back. It is a date. Like, do y'all see the chemistry there? Okay, do you see the chemistry? So I love the whole interactions with them, even when they get to the party at Dick and his friend's place. Like, when he started playing the drums, I was like, okay, Sticks, I see you, Rich. Baby, Marge was in love, honey. And then Rich was in love after she told them, look, she scared the little raggedy girls off in the lunch table. I was just like, look at this young love between all my babies. I was like, this is just so beautiful. But then we basically had to get into Ingrid's raggedy behind, okay? I think I caught everything that was happening pretty much for the gist of the episode. But let's talk about Ingrid, okay? Because it's a couple of things on why she deserves jail. She deserves hell. She deserves whatever is worse than hell. So Lily has this whole episode in class because Pennywise is still bothering her, which I found interesting because I didn't know that Pennywise would still be able to bother her if she had the meteorite shard, and I think she thought the same thing. That's why she took it to school. And so, Pennywise has been terrorizing her, because of her dad that passed away. And he appears under her desk and then she screams, everybody looking at her crazy, the teacher looking at her crazy. So she leaves school and then she goes to Lily's house. And so I guess she just invites Lily. She goes to Ingrid's house, and I guess Lily just decided to invite herself in. She goes all up through her house, upstairs in the attic. I'm like, now how you end up upstairs in the attic? But they're kids, and I know kids are nosy, so it is what it is. But she ends up going into the attic. She sees a scrapbook, and so we see a picture of the nurse. So at first I was thinking like, oh, like that's Ingrid's mama. Oh, okay. I was like, dang, R.I.P. mama. But then I realized that was Ingrid. The girl at the beginning of the episode was Ingrid. Perfect casting, by the way. The way that she had her tone the same as Ingrid that we meet in present day, just chef's kiss. Even like how they morphed into from the backstory to present day was just fantastic. But what was not fantastic was the fact that she saw in the scrapbook a picture of Cumberland, which was Ingrid's dad, who we see after she's hugging Ingrid, that she sees a picture that looks like him, but he's in the Pennywise costume. And then she makes the connection that is her dad. And so we see that the reason why Ingrid stayed is because she was trying to find her father again, because she knew it was Pennywise and she was hoping that Lily would be able to get Pennywise to come out. And so we see finally what happened to Mabel, which is why Ingrid is going to jail in hell, because not only does she start running after she sees Pennywise, but she was like running. She was like, don't look back. She barely was running, okay? Then, of course, Mabel trips and falls, all right? I don't know what the heck she tripped and fell on. She trips and falls, and then Ingrid gonna go and close the door. And then tell me like, oh, I'm trying to open the door. I'm trying to open it. Like, bitch, you knew what you was doing. You gonna let her... To wake her up out of her slumber, to take her downstairs to the person that she told you was tormenting her in her dang on dreams, and in present day, the reason why she was in the asylum, and then you leave her and you close the door on her? Like, are you serious? And so then, of course, Pennywise eat the girl, had a whole nice little snack, a whole buffet. And then she stands, and then we see that, he turns into like human form. Cumberland, big forehead behind, and then she thinks that she sees a sliver of her father, and so that's why she's trying to get back to Pennywise, because she feels like she can get somehow reconnect to her father, okay? And so the reason she chose Lily, I guess she was trying to tell Lily, like, not everyone has to stay dead. And I was just like, Lily, if you fall for this mess, like, don't listen to this lady, because she is absolutely out of her mind insane, all right? So Mabel dead. We realized Ingrid's a villain. Now, I wanted to see what she looked like in her little clown costume, but I guess they'll save that for next week. But another part that pissed me off, okay? Now, you remember when the guys were at the bar and they were talking about looking for Henry. Everybody looking for Henry. They think that he done killed these kids. They think that he was the cause of all of this. You know, during that time, they just wanted to blame it on him. So they got the little wanted signs everywhere, which is why Dick was like, I'm not here for y'all hiding him out here, but whatever. Like, I got my own ghost to deal with at this point. So remember, he said that he got a tip. Somebody called and said this is where he was. And why do I think that that was Ingrid raggedy behind? So I was just like, so what was you just getting your cheeks clapped because it felt good? Did you even love Henry? And that's why I'm looking at Henry like, see what you did? You sitting up here cheating with a Jezebel, okay, with a villain, with a murderer for a father, okay, who dressed up in clown costumes. Like, was she, actually, I'm not going, intrusive thought, almost won, okay. Was they doing that in the bedroom? Okay, I'm sorry. Intrusive thoughts won. But yeah, like, just the disrespect, the raggediness of them to do that. Like, she was the one who called and did the tip to have the people show up at the end of the episode and they strangers. I was like, did this turn into the strangers? They came with their mask on and clearly they finna F stuff up. And I wonder, this can't be the massacre that they've been referencing, but I don't know what's about to happen. I just know it ain't good. And I just know that Ingrid deserves to be under the jail. If Ingrid is still alive at the end of this season, I am going to riot, okay? I am going to riot, all right? Because she is trash. Her daddy trash. Her daddy forehead trash, okay? Her nursing skills are trash. Her bedside skills are trash. Her wifely skills is trash because she's a cheater. I should have known when I saw Madeline Stowe. I was like, oh, look at Madeline Stowe. She playing like a nice person because, you know, I know her from Revenge. I mean, she's been in other stuff, but most recently for me, Revenge. And I was like, oh, look at her playing a really nice, wholesome character. And I should have known better. I should have known better that she was going to be a villain. All right. But yeah, overall for me, I enjoyed the episode. I do want to learn more about the lore of what does this mean? Like, is he like, was Pennywise like, was that actually Cumberland that was speaking to her? Or was that Pennywise just playing into her fears or her hopes in order to get her to open the door so he can eat her too? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. What did you think? But overall, I enjoyed this episode. Ingrid will forever be trash. Okay. Under the jail. Pits of hell. And take your daddy with you. Okay. But yeah, I didn't have too many things that I didn't like. I don't know if I wish we could have went a little deeper with Dick's character and kind of the repercussions of what happened. But I think him just kind of spazzing out, he just needed a moment for the episode. But I wonder how they're going to wrap this up. Is there 2 more episodes? I just wonder how they're going to wrap all of this up, because I mean, we just had this big revelation. I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, I'm still digging it. I'm liking Welcome to Derry. So let me know in the comment section below, what did you think of this week's episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you agree that Ingrid is trash? Do you think that it was Ingrid who called in and told them where Henry was? Obviously it was her, but if y'all have other theories, please let me know in the comment section below. But as always, my name is Sharana from Payroll Waits, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye.